Thanks for coming. You can leave your car keys in the bowl. I'm not sure what that means, but good evening, everyone. So President Trump recently said he never went to Epstein Island, but Bill Clinton went there 28 times. Clinton defended himself by saying it was the only way to use his frequent pervert miles. Singer Katy Perry was spotted on a date with Canada's former Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau.
Ew.
I know. Who knew she was a lesbian? Kissed a girl for sure. In a recent poll, young men struggled to name any masculine leader within the Democratic Party except Obama, causing the pollsters to ask, which one? He has a stepbrother. Doesn't he have a stepbrother? Rick. Yeah, Rick Obama. Rick Hussein Obama. Geese have reportedly caused a popular beach in Finland to be covered in a shocking amount of poop. Define shocking amount of poop, said Joe Biden's night nurse. Coors Light is now offering their own deodorant.
Wow.
I know, and true to the Coors brand, you need 12 of them for it to start working. An 8.8 magnitude earthquake shook Russia yesterday. The resulting tsunami waves hit the California coast so hard, citizens were forced to use the Kardashians as flotation devices. Researchers have found that a pair of drugs can restore memory in mice, which is really bad news for the rodents trying to forget Richard Gere. Let them move on. Let them get on with their lives. Some pervert threw a green dildo onto the court at a WNBA game. I know. Fans were shocked because it was butt plug night. I'm sorry.
Thanks for coming on.
We're cleaning up this show, I swear. We're cleaning it up. American Eagle's stock has gone way up since airing the Sydney Sweeney jeans commercial. Also up, boners. Do we have like 13-year-olds writing for this show? Terrible. And finally, scientists are now dressing pigs in clothes and burying them in Mexico, except for one that fled to Ireland. All right. We're done. Get that away. Get it away. Even I feel dirty after that one. All right, so this weekend, Trump struck a massive trade deal with the EU worth hundreds of billions of dollars. This after Trump's agreement with Japan last week. So you see a pattern here? Trump is solving America's problems one after the other and making cash for us along the way. Trump threatens tariffs and countries give in faster than Hunter Biden at hooker camp. If you listen to Trump, you knew this would happen. But if you listen to the media, you would be convinced it wouldn't. I wonder, could this be the biggest economic policy-making error of their lifetime?
This may be the biggest economic policy-making error of my lifetime.
I don't think there's a single positive take on this. This is all just bad.
As Mr. Trump's global trade war escalates, so do the odds of a recession.
Donald Trump is single-handedly, unilaterally, and for no reason plunging America into economic crisis.
24 hours after Donald Trump intentionally detonated a bomb in the heart of the most resilient economy on the planet.
Man, those idiots miss the mark more often than Stevie Wonder playing lawn darts. Of course, Armageddon never materialized. Instead, as countries make concessions and our economy takes off, the media is now forced to admit that these evil tariffs are working.
He's been issuing many threats of tariffs, but they clearly have been working.
Absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
On this deal, the European Union, this is a big win for the U.S.
It's a triumph of a lot of things. Certainly the president ought to take a victory lap.
The early reviews are in on the new trade deal announced with the European Union. The Financial Times says the deal marks a victory for Trump.
Oh, you know that was hard to say. I mean, Jesse has a harder time saying, I'll pick up the tab. Even one of Trump's biggest critics is admitting the president was right all along.
I, along with probably most people, were saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. The stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market. I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, you know, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
It seems Bill's slowly coming around. I reckon he's a tariff away from sunbathing at Mar-a-Lago. Because we've seen time and time again, the media quickly brand Trump's moves an impending failure. Then they fall flat on their faces. But Trump's like a pool shark, always thinking 3 shots ahead, positioning himself for a win every week, sinking one ball after another. We'd call him Minnesota Fats if J.B. Pritzker hadn't already called dibs on the name. But Trump's hardline negotiations aren't just successful with tariffs. He's doing the same in Ukraine. Europe is committing billions to buy U.S. arms and send them to Ukraine, and NATO members have increased their defense spending to 5%. While they walked all over Biden like he was already 6 feet under, Trump is getting allies to pay their fair share. Now you're wondering, I thought Trump wanted to end the war. Me too. But if you know that that's not in the cards for now, the next best thing is to monetize the mess. Stop being the piggy bank and instead be the pig. Now, maybe it's all that experience in real estate, but Trump knows how to monetize a problem. He sees some chip paint in the den, and he lowers his offer. He notices a crack in the window. He demands a discount. He sees a creepy neighbor and calls the whole deal off. This instinct works almost everywhere, including college campuses. At home, Trump threatened federal funding after anti-Semitic protesters wreaked havoc on Ivy League campuses. And what happened? Columbia pays $200 million in fines. Harvard is in talks to pay over $500 million. Meanwhile, UCLA will have to pay more than $6 million for allowing protesters to build a Jew exclusion zone. Normally, that's just called the basketball team. Trump put it on their tab, and suddenly hating Jews wasn't so much fun. But that's Trump's gift, to create something valuable out of thin air. He didn't look at these woke colleges and think, wow, this mindset's been around for decades, it's probably hopeless. Nope, he magically comes up with a plan. He slaps a price tag on their behavior. No one's really done that before, at least to my knowledge, and I'm really smart. He realizes that if you can't make bad behavior disappear, then at least charge them for it until they start rethinking the cost of the behavior themselves. You know, we always hear about the carrot and stick approach, using a combo of rewards and punishments to motivate people to do the right thing. But for Trump, the carrot and the stick are the same thing. And boy, is it fun watching him beat everybody with it. Let's welcome tonight's guest. We beat him in a war, but this Brit we adore. Host of Piers Morgan, Uncensored Piers Morgan. She's got us hooked on Stefanik's. New York Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She roots for the Bruins and leaves libs in ruins. Host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. And that wasn't a tsunami. He just did a cannonball. New York Times bestseller. Terry, I almost called you Tariff. Here's...
You can call me Tariff.
All right, Tariff. Tariff Von Morgan. You're watching like the press have to suddenly like admit that they were wrong again. It is kind of refreshing to see Bill Maher actually admit that this is happening more often.
Well, that's the difference this time around, I think, is that Trump is making them eat their words, but they are admitting it.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything else. I mean, Trump has had, 6 months in office, second time around. You could make a very good argument. It's already one of the most transformative presidencies in modern times. He's been there 6 months. So this is a guy, who first time around, I think, was finding his way with the presidency. It was all pretty chaotic. There was a lot of heat on him, Russia collusion, all that nonsense. This time around, he's had 4 years in the wilderness to really plan this. Yeah. And he's hit the ground. I've spoken to him a few times about this. He just came with a plan. And he was like, I'm not going to be knocked off course. I'm going to stick to my plan. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. I'm not going to die wondering. I'm just going to do it. And he's doing it. And now all the screaming liberals who hate him, even they're beginning to soften. In Scotland, last time we went to Scotland, there was mayhem up there, right? This was like, Kim Jong-un had come to town. This time, hardly any protests. In fact, they liked him there. And when he started speaking with the British Prime Minister, and he started saying, you know what, I just think that running a country's easy. And of course, my Prime Minister was like, is it? He's been having a clinker of a time. And he said, you just lower taxes, you just, strong on the border, you're tough on immigration, you have fewer foreign wars. And all the people in the UK were going, this sounds great.
Yeah, you know what? You just gave me an idea, Congresswoman. Shouldn't Trump run a master class on running a country on YouTube? You know those master classes?
Yes.
And you sign up, you pay $500,000, and you just listen to him, and he goes, this is what you do. Yeah. This is what you do. What do you make of what he's been doing to the Ivy League?
Well, certainly this is an issue. You all remember that horrific hearing with those Ivy League presidents, former presidents, after I asked them questions.
Yeah.
President Trump has been tremendous holding them accountable, and I think this was a real turning point in higher education. And it really epitomizes how far to the left radical academia has become. And that's not what people want. That's not what parents want. And that's not what we want our next generation of leaders. So President Trump has kept his promises and is holding them accountable. And now they are paying the price, as they should, to rebuild American education. So I've been proud to be the leader in Congress and proud to have a president like President Trump to hold them accountable. But I want to add to what Piers Morgan said in your point about a masterclass. President Trump is already teaching a masterclass these past 6 months. It's not just Americans who are looking at the golden age of America. It's world leaders who also understand that he is the alpha among all the world leaders, that he is leading this charge in terms of this golden age in this century. So
Did you see his shot, the opening shot, the golf?
No.
In Scotland? Absolutely crushed it. The guy's nearly 80. He went up and he just went boom, and he sort of stood there like Tiger Woods.
Oh, he's probably watching this show right now and going, this is a great show.
A beautiful show.
This is really... Rewind it. Rewind it. I want to play that. I want to hear that again. It is kind of funny, though, Kennedy, how we were told that he was the laughingstock of the global stage.
Yes.
And now he just goes in there and they give him what he wants. Was that all BS to begin with?
Well, they tried to do whatever they could to tank his reputation, whether it was the Russia collusion stuff or the lawfare, the judicial activism. Everything they tried to do was to put him in the most unflattering light possible. But to Pierre's point, he took that time in the wilderness and he really figured out with a lot more discipline than he had in his first term, what do I need to do to actually move the needle and make the country better? Not what do I need to do to boost my legacy so I'll make a bunch of money from Netflix post-presidency. What can I do to be liked by, the angry, tiny mob? But what can I do to actually make people's lives better? I hope every president does that. To your point about a masterclass, I hope Democrats do that and stop worrying about appeasing people who, no matter what you do, they will hate you because you're part of the establishment. And the one thing I will say about the tariffs, this is something that everyone should cheer. Like, if we are lowering our deficits and if we have these record-breaking numbers, the only thing I ask, I feel like we're halfway there. There should be an automatic switch that if we have a $300 billion trade surplus, that should immediately trigger a tax cut, especially for middle-income Americans who get absolutely hosed even in a great economy.
That is a great point. Yes. Iris, This is like one of those weird phenomenons where the sequel is better than the original movie. I'm trying to think of it. It's like Godfather. This is Godfather.
It's like 2. Empire Strikes Back to Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like Star Wars is okay.
Yes.
But then that whole baby mama drama thing in Star Wars was like, is his father? You know, I would like to say one thing though, and you know, we don't like to gloat a lot on this show. But when all this tariff stuff talking was, even the people on the Republican side were like, whoa! Yeah. And I believe it was 2 gentlemen that sat here and said, one of them in particular, a tall, light-skinned brother, said, trust the process.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. The only thing I would like to see is no more pre-recorded hate sessions on the president. It has to be live. All these news, they're not even, we got to stop calling them media and stuff like that. We just need to call them just bitch-ass crybabies. That's what they are. It's like no matter. Apparently they know a few in their neighborhood. But like no matter what it is, their first thing, oh, this is gonna be the worst thing ever. At what point do we have to say you have to do it live? Yeah. So then they can correct themselves live on air. Because they go on and they just put graphs up. We saw last week, they put a graph up, but it was upside down. Yeah. Like they just put stuff up on the wall and say, look how bad it is. But everyone outside is like, the sun's out. Yes. Everyone's doing good. Like, the lights are on. What are you talking about? At some point, these networks have to say, enough. Like we have to get people in. Just report the news. You don't need your personal feelings. Just say, here's the plan. Here's how it's going. And if it goes bad, then you can bring in your experts. But they just need to stop with the constant hating, because it's embarrassing. How they come on TV every night and have to change their story, it's like laughable. Like, why? Like, oh, it's the end of the world as we know it. Good morning, the world's still here. Just enough.
Yeah. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.